So now I want to continue. After creating this, want to complete this UI right here. So I'm going to create all of this div that's going to contain 2, and this is going to be clickable, so it opens, give us the possibility to choose images from, and then we're going to show them. Okay, so let's start working right here. We're going to start with the div that's called add pics wrap. Okay, and then we're going to have an input which is going to be type file. Okay, so we're going to create a type file. Let me just remove those, we're not going to need them. As you're going to see right here, it's going to show. Also, it's going to be multiple, so it's going to allow like multiple, to choose multiple images or multiple files. Also, it's going to be hidden. Okay, so by putting it hidden, it's going to be hidden and it's not going to be shown. And we're going to use a reference to open it without showing it. Okay, using another icon. Okay, so the reference is going to be, let's call it, for example, I don't know, image input ref. Let me create that. It's going to be use ref, and then the beginning is going to be null, like this. Okay, so that's the first thing. Also on change, we're going to have a function for it, and then we're going to create that later. So on change is going to be handle images. Let me just create the function with no body. Okay, like this. It's going to be an arrow function, and now it's going to leave it empty. Okay, so after this input, now we're going to have, let me just go back right here. This is in the image preview, so you can go back to the image preview, also send the images, and also set images. Like this. Let me go back right here, let me get them. Which is the array that's going to be for the images. So right here, we're going to check if we have images, and also we can use like another test to make that images length exist, so it's more than 0. Okay, and then we're going to do something, okay, which is I'm going to show you right now. I'm just put it inside this, else this is what we're going to have. Okay, so we're going to work now on this part right here. Let me show you. And this one, okay, this one we're going to work on it, and this one is going to be dependent if we have any images or not. So for example, now we don't have any image. Okay, so it's going to be the work that we're going to do right here because we don't have any images. But when we have images, it's going to be this, and this is going to be, let me show you, let me choose an image, and this is how it's going to be. So we're going to show an images inside that div, and also going to show this, a couple of icons and all this stuff. Okay, so I think now it's obvious. So let's leave that, say we have images, but for now let's work when we don't have images. Okay, so right here we can go and have another div. Let's call it add pics inside one. That's going to be the div, and inside this we're going to have another div that's going to be small white circle, and then we're going to have an exit icon inside that, and after the div we're going to have another div that's called add call. Okay, and then another div is going to be add circle, and then an icon which is going to be add photo icon. Okay, and then after that we're gonna have a span which is gonna have add photos / videos, and then gonna have another span that's gonna see or drag and drop. Okay, like this. So that's the first div. So maybe we can go and work on it and see how it looks. So you can go to the size, and then after here it's gonna be add pics wrap, the first div, and then it's gonna have a margin 10 pixel top and bottom, 15 right and left, and then padding 10 pixels, and then we're gonna have a border, and the border is gonna be 1 pixel solid, and it's gonna be variable, which is gonna be bg third, like this. Okay, so that's the first thing. I see we have the borders. Also we need like a border radius to it, which is gonna be 10 pixels. So now we've done everything there. We can continue add pics. Okay, let me just get the name right inside one, and then this is going to be position. I don't know what's my keyboard doing. And then the background is going to be variable, which is going to be bg secondary. Now everything is alright. Next starts come up. Border radius, same way, 10 pixels. Padding, 10 pixels. Now we're going to define a height, which is going to be 250. Okay, it's going to be a fixed height like this. Okay, and then we're going to make sure everything in the middle. Okay, to do that you can use center, justify content center, or just display grid and then place items and then put center. the two ways that I've shown you, okay? And also we're gonna have the cursor to be pointer, and then we're gonna go to the div add call, and then we're gonna have display flex direction is gonna be column. Any class name that I have call in it, that means it's gonna be a column, okay? And then align item center, and then the gap is gonna be 2 pixels, okay? That's for this icon and the text right here for the 2 spans, okay? But this one is not gonna be positioned this way, it's gonna go to the right, so it's gonna be position absolute. So let me just get the name of it. This one, small white circle, like this, and this is gonna be with 30 pixels, the usual stuff, okay? And then border radius is gonna be 50%. We're gonna define the border to it. It's gonna have a border that's gonna be let me see, 1 pixel, solid, and it's gonna be variable. It's gonna be PG third, okay, like that. And as you see, but the items are at the center, we're gonna work on that later. So the background is gonna be var PG primary, it's gonna be white, okay? So as you see right now is white, but we're gonna make it in the center, so display grid, and then place items center. It always doesn't finish this for us, okay? So now it's all right. Also, let's make position absolute, so you can take it to where you want. So right is gonna be 10 pixel, okay, on top 10 pixel. And as you see now, it's in the right position that you want it. Also, we can make the cursor pointer. Also, maybe, I don't know if we're gonna have a problem, but maybe we can add a z index. I've added this before, that means that we're gonna need it somewhere, okay? Where do we get a c? And then we're gonna have add circle, and this div is gonna simply width 42, height 42. It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same that we do right here. Border radius 50%. I should have used like divs or class name that's already, you know, defined the background, the border radius and all this stuff, but we didn't, so I gotta do it manually, sorry. The border is gonna be 1 pixel, solid, and it's gonna be PG third. Let's see now the icon, how it's gonna change. Okay, so I feel like the PG third doesn't change anything. Okay, so let me first of all make it in the center, place items, it's gonna be center. Let me make primary and see if it actually changes. Okay, so I'm talking about this one. Okay, that's the border. Okay, that's why, because we need to add the background. It's gonna be variable, and it's gonna be PG third. Okay, and as you see now it's different. Also gonna need to add the display grid, so it affects the place item sense. Okay, so now everything is all right there. But as you see, this span that we have right here, we have 2 spans, do every single one of them and make changes to it. Okay, so we're gonna go to the add call, the div that hold them both. Okay, I'm gonna take that and look for the span, and we're gonna look for first of type. That means the first span that we're gonna get, which is gonna be this add photo videos. Okay, and we're gonna take that and make the font size 15 pixels and also the font weight to be 600. And then we're gonna do the same, but it's gonna be for the second one, but this time it's gonna be this one 12. Okay, that's the first change. Let me see. Okay, not the first one. Okay, let me just go back right here. This is going to be last of type, so we select this, okay, like this. And also going to change the color, and the color is going to be variable, which is going to be color secondary, like that. Okay, so now let me just compare between them, and I think this is all right. So now we're going to work on this div, and as you see right here, if we go back right here, this div, the second div, is going to be after this test, because it doesn't matter if we have, you know, images or not, because when we have images right here, that div is going to be still showing. Okay, I don't know what it's not showing. Okay, now it's showing. As you see, this div right here is still there. It doesn't matter if we have images or not. So now we're going to go after that and work on the second div right here. Okay, so after this, we're going to have a pics inside too. Okay, and then we're going to have another div that's going to be add circle, and then inside this kind of the icon, which is going to be phone icon, like this. And then after this div, we're going to have mobile text, and it's going to be add photos. Let me just see, photos from your mobile device. The keyboard is a bit far away from me, so it's kind of hard for me to write, just to reduce the sounds. Okay, which is, I still think it's picked up. So add phone button here, and now we've done. Let me see, it's right here. So that's all we're gonna need. Okay, we need also the button add. Okay, so right here just me add right here. Let me see. Okay, so now we got it, so we can go back and go to the styles and see what we can do. So we're gonna have add pics inside too. Okay, and it's gonna be position relative, and then the margin tab is gonna be 10 pixels. Okay, and then things are going fine. Display flex, align item center, and then we're gonna have a gap to be 10 pixels. Okay, the background is gonna be a variable which is gonna be bg secondary. Okay, this is all right. Then also gonna have the padding to be 10 pixels, and same goes for the border radius, is gonna be 10 pixels like this. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the mobile text, and then it's gonna be font size 12 pixels, and the font weight is 600. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the add phone button. Okay, and you see the background, which is gonna be a variable, and it's gonna be bg third. Let's see if it changes. Okay, it's not changes. Let me change it to primary. Okay, so there's something with the name. Okay, this is gonna be add phone, not there. Let me see if it changes. Okay, now it changes. Going back right here, the font weight is gonna be 600. Okay, changes applicable, and then the padding is gonna be 10 pixels, and then 15 right and left, like that. And then it's gonna be having a border radius, which is gonna be 10 pixels. Okay, and then we're gonna have a font size to be 14 pixels. Okay, the border radius is 10. Position is gonna be absolute, and then it's gonna be right 10 pixels, and then the cursor to be point. Let me see if there's any difference. Okay, it seems the same with this button. Okay, if something is alright, we're gonna see it later, but just for now we've done everything needed right here. Okay, so now we're gonna start on clicking on this one, and then starting to, you know, get images and then showing them. Okay, so we can go back to the image preview, and when we click on this one, where is it? So let me go and get that. We're gonna click on this, not this. Okay, we can click on this one, this add column. That means this button right here, so we can add a reference to it, or you can do it for like the whole div. But if you do it for the whole div, it's gonna, you know, click on this, which is not gonna be for closing, it's gonna also count for that. So we're not gonna do that. So right here, I'm just gonna call it like open input. Okay, this is a reference. Okay, or we don't need actually the reference, right? So you can just go on click. Okay, simply, and then right here, and then we're simply gonna go to the reference that we had, which is the image input ref, which is gonna input the open the input. So we can go that dot current dot click. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna need the function or not, so let me try it. Let's click. Okay, and it's working. Okay, so let's give us the option to choose, but as you see, when you choose something, nothing's gonna happen right here. Okay, so the most important thing right now is we handle the images. Okay, so this function, we're gonna get all the images that we have in the input and then have them in this array. Let me, oh, I want to close this. Let me go back to the index. So, and we're gonna get them and put them right here in the images array. Okay, and from this images array, we simply can go back to, where is it? Right here. So this place that we didn't add anything, and then we're gonna go and map through all the images and show them right here. I was gonna do this in the next episode, but it's actually pretty simple. So let's do that. Let's get the event that's gonna give us the access to the files that we selected. And also gonna have a variable, let's call this files. And it's simply gonna go to the events and then target and then files. And this way we access the files that we have in the input. Okay, so we can go and console log the files. So let me show you. And let me just maximize this. Open the console, let's see. Okay, so we have a problem. Okay, in emoji backgrounds. Okay, I feel like I know the problem because this is actually pretty easy to understand. So when you go to emoji backgrounds, whenever we had a test, we simply can make it like this, and else what's gonna happen when not having this test, right? Okay, so that's the way we're gonna do it, simply like that. We've done this before, you know, so you know how to fix this, but I'm just gonna do it. I don't want to see any error in the console. Okay, so anytime have this. So also what else? Like that. Okay, whereas we have it, same goes right here. So it's gonna be a bit of hassle, but I'm just gonna get through it. Okay, so let me just see. Okay, this is all right. This one right here. Also fix that. So we can see, let me refresh this and see. Okay, so we don't have it anymore. Okay, always make sure that you have any warnings. It's just annoying. Okay, console should look clean. Okay, I don't want to see any user access your website and see this in the console. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is go right here and then choose like an image. Okay, like that. And as you see right here, let me just maximize this, and you can see file list. And in the file list, you're gonna see that the length is 1 because we choose one file, and that's the file that we choose inside this array. And as you see, we have 0, which is a file, the name of it, last modified, all the informations about that file that we've chosen, the size, the type, and all the other stuff. But as you see right here, this is type file list, but we don't want type file list. We want it type of array. And to convert them is actually pretty simple. You can go back right here and take all of that and then just make this array.form. We've done this before, so now it's going to give us an array instead of a file list. So let me go back right here, let me refresh this and go now and choose new images, like all of them, and then open. And as you see right now, we get an array like this. So this is an array where all the objects right here, the files, where all the informations that we're gonna need. So that's pretty cool. You can go back right here. If you see any cuts in the video or audio, I just cut it because you have some background noises. Okay, so let me remove the console log, and now we're going to go through all the images that we have in the files. So we're going to go files dot we can use for each. Okay, and then simply we can get every single one of them, every single image, and we're going to do the test right here. So we're going to get a reader, which is from JavaScript. So it's going to be just a new file reader that's going to allow us to read the file. Okay, and then we're going to simply take the reader, and then we're going to use the function read as data URL like this, and we're going to read every single image that we have, which is like this. Okay, so now that we read every single one of them, we can just now go to the reader, onload. So when it has any elements inside it in the reader that's reading like this, and then onload is going to take the events of the reader. So it's called reader event. You can just use we've used it before, so you can use any other name. So event. Okay, and then right here we're gonna right here we're gonna simply take everything that we read from that files and add them to the images array. So we're gonna go to set images to change the array. Let me just show you again so you understand. So we're gonna go to this array right here, use the set images to fill this empty array right here of all the file or images that we're reading. So we can go there. So we're gonna get the images. Okay, and first of all, it's an array, so let me spread the images so we can leave everything inside there. We're not gonna change them, and then we're gonna go use the read event. Okay, the reader event, and then the target, and then we're gonna access the result, and the result is gonna be the actual image like this. Okay, so this is gonna be 3 dots. It's gonna spread all the images. So now all we've done is take all the images that we have in the event target files and then put them in the images array, simply like this. So this is a function that you can use all the time. It's a handy one. Okay, so now if we go back right here and like console the images, maybe in the index itself. So now we talk images itself, the array that we have right here. Okay, so we can go back right here and then open the console. And as you see, let me clear the console, refresh again. Okay, and as you see, we have an empty array of images because we didn't choose any image. Now let's go right here and choose an image. And as you see, now it's going to be added, and it's going to be in a form of data URL. Okay, so it's going to be in base 64, but it's still readable, and you can use link or actually the base 64. So now if we went like, let me just show you, maybe let me just minimize this so you understand. It's the same way as using a URL. So you can go back, for example, maybe right here when we have nothing, and you can go images, just to show you, or maybe you just can have a tag. Okay, so maybe just an image. Let me just go an image, and the source of it is going to be images 0. That means the first element of an image. Okay, and the image is going to show, even though that we're not using a URL, but you can use the base 64 for it. Okay, but we're not gonna do it this way. We're gonna move through all the images and then show them. Okay, so let me just remove everything. I wanted to explain this point for you, that it's still readable. Okay, it's fine. So if we go back right here, where is it, the image preview, and we can just remove the console log from here. Okay, and let's continue the next episode.